Okay. Hi. How are you? Hi, you gift.
Hi.
Welcome to this session, and thank you very much for having us today to share with us some of the insights of continuous learning in tech. Because I understand that learning in tech is very, very crucial since things are always moving. And yeah, we're really, really grateful for having you here. And I think you can just introduce yourself before I mess things up. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave the floor to you.
All right. So sounds good. So hi everyone. Thank you for joining the presentation. I'm Gigi. I'm an internal journalist at Absalon. So today will be all about continuous learning. So do I get started now or you have
Yes.
all right. So I will go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
This is the fun part. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen now. All right, awesome.
And
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's start this. So hi everybody. Thank you again for joining today's presentation, and thank you Women in Tech Malawi for the opportunity. We're going to be talking about why it's important to keep learning in the tech world and share I'll share a couple of tips that have helped me stay up to date with what's new in tech and how to improve your skills. Also, whether you're new to tech or have been in the field for some time, I hope you find some of these tips useful and help you with your career. So, a bit about me. Hi, I'm Gigi again. I'm an internal journalist at Absalon. So, my day to day involves technical content marketing for data science and machine learning, and a bit of the applications in biotech and pharma. So, you can easily connect with me on social media. So, why are we even having this talk in the first place? So, why is continuous learning important? In the tech space, it's rapidly evolving, as we all know, and thanks to emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, all the other good stuff, everything is faster, more efficient, and everything else in between, thanks to Moore's Law. So, continuous learning helps you maintain a competitive edge in the job market, and it contributes to both your professional and personal growth, enhances your adaptability to new roles and responsibilities. So I was able to check out this LinkedIn Workplace Learning Report from 2023, and skill sets for jobs have changed a lot since 2015 by 25%. And this change is expected to reach around 50% by 2027. So fun times. Um, I think we can also like see that like some jobs that exist today didn't exist like 10 to 20 years ago. Like I don't think AI ethics and governance was a conversation people were having 20 years ago. So there are so many new opportunities coming up, and it's important that you are adaptable to these changes and find wherever your niche will be useful for them. So I also included a link to 80,000 hours. It's this really cool website I found. Um, and it has like some guides around careers and what's new in careers and all the other good stuff about like what's new in the job market and stuff. So I think it's a pretty cool website that you can check out. So I'm going to be sharing 4 tips on why and how you can do continuous learning. So hopefully you find them useful, and let's get started. Let's do it. So my inspiration for this presentation is from Tina. She's a data scientist who used to work for Meta, and she talks about data science and shares productivity tips that helped her to do continuous learning even while she had a full-time job, even though she doesn't work at Meta anymore. So yesterday she even did a 2-hour live study session. If you'd like to check that out, and I really like her work. So yeah, that's a cool resource to check out. So step one, the first step is setting clear goals. So you can have an overarching goal that gives direction and purpose to your learning journey. And you can break down your main goal into smaller and manageable sub goals, and this makes the process less overwhelming and more achievable for you. So that's, of course, you can talk about goals without mentioning SMART goals. So I think almost everybody at this point has heard about SMART goals at some point in their life. So the usual stuff, your goals should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be achievable, they should be relevant, and of course, they should be time bound, because time management is also important. And giving yourself deadlines also like helps you box your learning, not like box, but like gives you a time frame for you to get things done, and helps you achieve more when you have that deadline for yourself. So, an example of a specific goal could be you want to learn Python and complete 3 data analysis projects for your portfolio. A measurable one could be you want to complete 2 Coursera courses on Udacity or any other platform of choice within the next 3 months. An achievable goal is a goal that you believe that within the time frame you set for yourself, you'll be able to get that done, and it should be feasible depending on where you are in your career and the amount of time you have to spare to upskill. So an example of achievable goal could be you could decide to contribute to one open source project within 6 months. You could decide to write one blog post every week, something that you can easily do, and then you can continue to challenge yourself from there. Then a relevant goal is picking something that is relevant to your industry. That could be learning a particular framework that's making waves in the particular, I'm saying particular a lot, in the field you're interested in, and then making sure that it's relevant. Although like relevancy changes sometimes, but then there are basic things that I think in every field that you should know. So it's important to align that. And that's where mentorship is also important, because you can have a mentor who guides you through the stuff. And we'll talk about that somewhere within this presentation. And I mentioned time bound, give yourself a deadline, because sometimes it's easy to say that I'm going to finish a course in 2 months, and then without said deadline, instead of spreading the course outline within that 2 months, you end up finishing it within a year, or not finishing it at all. So it's important to have a deadline for yourself and making your goals time bound. And then step 2, identifying your personal motivators. So reflect on what makes you excited and pushes you to keep going. This differs from person to person. It could be like the thrill of solving complex problems, a desire for career growth, or a passion for innovation. So understanding your personal motivators will keep you passionate and engaged throughout your learning journey. And also your motivators can change with time and experience. For me, when I started out in tech, my motivator initially was curiosity, and of course I needed money. So having money as a motivator is not necessarily a bad thing, but curiosity is also nice. Um, so step 3 is building a strong support system for yourself. Strong support system could be um, your friends, your family, your people you're doing a course with. So a strong support system provides encouragement and accountability and shared learning experiences. So you can seek mentors, you can find peers, you can find communities who can support you on your tech journey. And examples of this could, like I said earlier, could be tech meetups. You can find them on online study groups and mentorship programs. So in the next slide, I'm going to share a few communities that did support me. Not all of them. There are a lot of communities that supported me in some one way or the other. So these are a couple of them that have helped me so far. So here are a few of them, not all of them. So the few I could remember really. So Groove is a co-working app that I use every day. This is all on paid promo. But Groove is a co-working app that I use every day because it helps me keep track of my time and breaks up my working hours into 50-minute chunks. So I'm able to plan what I want to do in 1 hour. And then alongside that, it's also very community driven. So I get to meet awesome people, and it's also a wonderful community. That's how I picked up fencing as a hobby sport, because I met a fencer on the platform and we did stuff together. So it was cool. And I use it all the time. Other platforms similar to Groove are Focusmate, although Groove is more like I think this is like making it sound too simple, but like for me, Groovy is like a very awesome Pomodoro application because it's like 50-minute chunks. But FocusMate is 1 hour, and you have to sit, FocusMate and co-focus as well. You have to sit for 1 hour with the other person and do what you're supposed to do. So like there's less chances of you like leaving and getting distracted or scrolling on your phone because you're seeing the other person working as well. So um apps like this are helpful, and yeah, they're pretty cool. So I recommend them if you're finding it difficult to um keep yourself accountable and maybe your friends aren't available to help you stay on track with what you're working on, just for little things like this. Other communities that have helped me so far, Women in Data was a great program. It's a community that I met amazing women in. I participated in their mentorship program. It was awesome. Um, Women in Tech Network is one of the, I think it's one of the biggest tech communities for women, and they host a conference every year. So it's a really cool platform. Women in Data Science Trinidad and Tobago. I volunteered with them this year as a speaker, and it was one of the best things, or shall I say, one of the highlights of my year so far in 2024, as I was able to be friends with three of the other speakers, and I still talk to two of them. So it's nice like having this connections through these different communities, and they're from different places bringing different perspectives, and I think that that's important for people to have. Other communities, AI Community Africa, that was the first community that I met. This is like me just like sharing all these communities that I found. So AI Community Africa was one of the first AI communities that I came across, and they really helped me get started. I got my first internship as a data scientist through this community. Um, I volunteered with Equity as a mentor. I volunteered with Tech Up Africa as a program manager, and it's also how I met the organizer of this event. So cool stuff. And of course, Kaggle has this yearly mentorship program. I benefited greatly from that, and also the Women in Machine Learning community as well. They share really cool resources there. So here's a tip. I think it's important to aim for diversity in your network because it's easy to join one community in just one place, and then it's comfortable, but I think it's nice to diversify your network and meet people from different places, different backgrounds, different ways of thinking. It helps. I think it helps a lot personally and professionally. So I suggest connecting with people of different skills, levels, backgrounds. Diversity, as I said, will expose you to various approaches, perspectives, and enrich your overall learning experience. And remember that in tech, we are all lifelong learners, or basically in life generally, we are all learners. So even experts in one area can be beginners in a different area. So don't be shy to share what you know, because sometimes the other person doesn't even know what you're talking about, and that's where your strength lies. So don't be shy to meet really cool people in the tech ecosystem. And how do you find these people? So you can do a Google search for, that's how I found a lot of the communities I joined. So you can do a Google search for communities and events. You can talk to people within said communities that you found. You can ask ChatGPT, because now it's not like best practice to use ChatGPT as a search engine, but it does bring good stuff. But you have to filter, of course. So follow and connect with awesome people on LinkedIn. So you can use almost any social media platform of choice. There are communities that exist on Slack, on Discord, other platforms as well. So I think it's great to um, join those. For LinkedIn, what I like to do is I like to carefully, I don't, this is might sound like, I like to carefully create my feed. So I tend to follow people who are in fields that I am interested in, like our shiny in AI ethics, in pharma and biotech. There's and also content marketing. So usually when I open my LinkedIn feed, it's typically content around this, and of course the usual LinkedIn stuff that you find on LinkedIn, why people don't like LinkedIn. But yeah, LinkedIn is a wonderful place, and I like the algorithm, kind of the way it works, because it's, I think it's kind of heavily dependent on who you're following. So I think LinkedIn is a cool tool, and you can follow top voices in fields you're interested in. Like one of my favorites is Ali K. Miller. She is a top voice in AI for business, and she posts really cool stuff. So people like this, you can find other top voices by searching for them, and then you can find what's they're sharing, stay up to date in what's going on in your different fields, and it's a really cool thing. There are also newsletters you can subscribe to, but you have to search for them. And also, some communities offer their own curated newsletters, so leverage those to stay up to date on what's going on in tech and other opportunities available. And then you can participate in programs like 100 Days of Code. So I did this several, like I said, several, like I've been in this for so long. I did this like 3 years ago, I think. It was wonderful. I got to meet like cool people out of it. 100 Days on Code on Twitter. It was a good opportunity for me, and it kept me accountable. Sorry. So things like this are really cool. Now, track your progress. I think this is kind of like the hard part if you're doing it manually. So, but it's a very important thing to do to track your progress so you can see the amount of progress you're making and if you need to tweak your learning plan or you need help. So, it really helps you with boosting your motivation and tracking your progress. It's easy to forget how far you've come when you're focusing on how far you have to go. Because in tech, or in life in general, I guess, or any other field really, there's always something that you do not know, and that's completely fine. As long as you're aware that you don't know it and you're willing to do the work to find out what it is. So track your progress, and it helps you see your growth and celebrate your achievements along the way. So you can use tools like scoreboards, progress journals, or apps to keep track of your achievements and make sure you celebrate your small wins however you see fit, in a good way, of course. So when I was taking, I'm currently okay. When I was taking the Udacity deep learning course, how I did it while balancing university at the time was I split it into a list. So every day I would take like one or two videos. I made sure that every day I would take like at least one or two videos or one whole section, depending on how much time I had at my disposal to finish the course. So being able to like split this into bits and have it time bound helped me stay accountable, and I was able to eventually finish the course. And it's also something I still practice till now, where it's I mean, fancy to-do lists are great, but sometimes just a plain sheet of paper and a pen goes a long way. And just like splitting it and adding dates, I am a huge fan of templates and stuff, but sometimes doing things easy ways is cool. So there are many ways to do this. You could have a simple to-do list. You could have a progress journal or a habits tracker to make sure that you're making sure you're studying every day. I recently found this really cool app called Finch, and it helps me like set reminders to learn something new every day. So I use it a lot, and I have recently been trying to learn something on Brilliant on computational biology. It's fun, and also like putting me in a spiral, but it's fun. So it's cool to find little tools like this that can easily gamify the way you do work. And if you find them, please use them. So you can use habit trackers, study planners. For tech, there are specific tools that you can use to easily share your progress, like the contributions graph on GitHub. And I think Leet Code and I think HackerRank probably has this as well. So whatever method you choose, make sure that you're celebrating your wins. And I think that's where like things like 100 days of code are important, because if you meet a 25 days, you can easily celebrate that. 50 days, 100 days, it's easy to track this and celebrate it, for because I think one of the hardest part about continuous learning is staying consistent. So whatever tools or methods work for you, these are a few of the methods that work for me. So whatever, you just research and find what works best for you and apply that. So a way to reward yourself could be uh okay. sorry, a way to reward yourself. I think the way I did to reward myself back then was to get like my favorite flavor of ice cream or cookies or go outside or something. So yeah, find ways to reward yourself that are at your disposal. Okay, so when you're looking for projects to work on, so of course you can use AI for inspiration. You can create a learning plan with the help of AI, and of course a mentor or a study group to improve your skills. You can contribute to an open source project. There are so many communities and programs you can leverage for this, like Google Summer of Code, Google Summer of Docs, Outreachy, all in Africa as well. And also know that like contributing to open source projects doesn't always have to be code. Some for there are also like spaces for non-technical contributions. Okay, technical, but like documentation. Like I participate yearly with the Turing Way. So the Turing Way has a book dash every year where you contribute to the book called Turing Way, which is best practices for data science. And I'm happy to be contributing to it. And I got to meet really cool people through this book dash, and it's also how I learned about data feminism. So cool stuff. So here are some other videos that you can check out, of course, from Tina as well. She shares projects that you can work on and how you can use AI for them. Or if you choose not to use AI, that's up to you. But I think it's also a more efficient way if you use AI, depending on how you use it. And there are also like other cool GitHub repositories that you can use for finding inspiration for your next project. I think it's important to keep your projects, your work project based. So applying the formula, this is like like, this is just like a way for us to like step back and see how everything could come together in real life. So this is Temwa. She is a person who's trying to make it in tech. She's trying to be a software engineer, and she decided to like set sub goals for herself to learn Go. She's building her portfolio. She's contributing to open source projects, and she has identified her motivators and adapted a growth mindset because a growth mindset is also important. And she's building a strong support network for herself, networking as much as she can, and she's tracking her goals meticulously so she can celebrate her wins. Now, overcoming challenges. So I think it's important to, I think I've said this already, keep a wins journal to remind yourself of your achievements. Focus on personal growth rather than comparison because in this space it's easy to get carried away with comparing your growth with someone else's. I did it a lot and I've learned that it's not a good idea because contexts are always different and you don't know what's going on in the other person's life, and other people don't really know what's going on in your life unless you tell them. And still they won't have the full context of it. So I think it's important to catch yourself when you're doing self-comparison, but always try to push yourself. And then growth isn't always linear. Sometimes some people's career paths may be one way and yours could be a different way. Like my case, for example, I when I started learning about data science, my imagination was like I was going to be a junior data scientist. I started out as a data science intern, and what I imagined would be I would work my way up into being a junior data scientist, then become a senior one, become a manager, the usual stuff. But that didn't quite happen. I ended up doing like a zigzag, where right now I'm a technical content marketer, and I started out as a data scientist and I did some program management, I did some community management, um, did some other stuff in between. So sometimes what you plan won't always happen, but then it opens you up to more and sometimes better opportunities. So embrace change, but always know when to say no to certain opportunities, especially when they're not aligned with the goals that you have for yourself. And then try to take it's okay to try different things and see what you like. So a common question I've seen so far, and also I had this question when I started out, is how do I know if a tech field is good for me? I would suggest trying it out. you don't have to like go all into it, but like trying out and seeing if it's a good fit for you is always great, because I think it's you're holding yourself back if you decide that you're going to be just one person for the rest of your life, when you could like try different things and see how that goes, and then decide for yourself if you want to commit to it or just learn about it for fun. So leveraging AI for learning, of course, this won't be a talk in 2024 without mentioning AI, because AI is dominating conversations now, and I'm happy I got to be a part of this space. I started learning about AI a few years back, so it's great that everyone is trying to leverage AI for different things, for coding, for writing, for brainstorming, and all the other stuff in between. So it's important to explore ways to use AI for your learning journey, because I think it makes things more efficient. You can generate projects, ideas, you can brainstorm with ChatGPT or any other LLM of choice. There's Claude, there's Perplexity, I think there's Poa as well. I think Poa is more for writing. So many other options and open source choices as well. So you can brainstorm with these tools and then see what projects you like to work on that are tailored to the skill you're trying to build yourself in. Create a personalized plan for yourself, learning plan for yourself. And of course, I think it's important to have a person look at said learning plan, which is something I tried to do for myself, where I was able to brainstorm with ChatGPT and then sent it over to my mentor from C Sharp. There's a C Sharp mentorship program. So I was able to create this learning plan for myself, because I moved from being a sort of technical person to, okay, I moved from being a freelance technical writer to being a full-time technical writer. So there are so many things I didn't know when I started, and then it's helpful that I have my manager supporting me, the company supporting me, my mentor supporting me, and all the other resources I got to find in between. So having a learning plan for yourself is important, and also have someone with more experience than you go over said learning plan. Um, get explanations for complex concepts. It's easy to feed your question into ChatGPT and ask it to explain it to you as if you were five, which is a cool way to do things, or explain it to you in simple terms, or however you choose to craft your prompt. Then ethical considerations. If you're going to use AI generated content, it's important to understand what it's generating before you push it out. Okay, I saw a comment. Okay, I think let me just finish this. So, because I can't see the full comment yet. And then use AI as a tool to enhance learning and not replace it, and be transparent about AI usage in your project. So I think this is from Jennifer. I think we all go through zigzag, but agility is very important. I tried everything, but saw that my strength is being more of a functional consultant. I agree, Jennifer. This is true. In as much as we would like life to be very simple, it can get pretty complex sometimes. So you embrace the changes that come and adapt to them, and also reach out for help when you're stuck. So, of course, human skills are very important in the age of AI. I got this graphics from a LinkedIn Learning report from 2024. So learning and development pros agree that human skills and soft skills are increasingly important, especially now. And then some of these human skills that are important and have been growing over the years have been interpersonal skills, presentation skills, problem solving, people management. So these are things that AI can't quite do for us yet. So it's important to leverage this and know how you can be, how you can add, like sprinkle AI into your workflow while being human and embracing that in whatever way possible. Like in my case, as a technical content writer, um, sometimes AI won't, sometimes ChatGPT won't always push out the best content for you. And so it has to go through tech reviews from the tech team. It has to go through I myself as a person who's doing a marketing review, or someone else who's doing a review of the documents, to see if there's something that's happening that should be in there, because also this AI tools have cutoffs. So there could be something that's trending write in 2024, and then the cutoff for the tool you're using is in 2023. So being able to stay up to date on these things and knowing when to add a human touch to your work is very important, because there are some things that AI simply can't know, because it's not one like building the things all the time. So know how to use AI to improve your workflows and move forward from there. So interpersonal skills, or the other critical thinking, or the other soft skills are very important, and I think that everyone should know or put more effort into soft skills. So what are the next steps? Don't worry, the presentation is almost done. So you can create a feasible study plan using AI, as I mentioned before, and of course get input from your peers, input from your mentor, from your manager, from whoever you feel is worthy of giving you advice in said field. ChatGPT is your friend. Other LLMs are your friends, but make sure that you're doing what's feasible and what's practical. So the set study plan should include lots of projects for your portfolio. I can't stress this enough, because I am the kind of person who used to shy away from building projects because I was very scared of writing spaghetti code. In a way, I still think I write some spaghetti code. So it's important to include projects in your work. Whatever you're learning, please build a project alongside it. If you choose not to do a project, you can write about it and share your experience with other people, as I think writing is also a great way of um, learning, because you get to do research while you're writing. So, and then while you're putting together your piece, you also question like, what would somebody who's reading this want to know? And that helps you like do more research and dig deeper into what you're working on. So projects are important in any shape or form that you choose to go, or whatever career you're in. So find projects that are suitable for it. Join tech communities such as this one, Women in Tech Malawi. She Code Africa. I think there's a She Code Africa in Malawi as well, or the other ones as well. So Google tech communities, join them. Don't just find niche ones. Like if you're a machine learning person, you stick to the machine learning community. You can also find communities outside of it that are more general and also niche, and also within your country or outside of your country. It's important to diversify the knowledge that you have. Then find a study buddy. I think some courses offer this. Like when I did my Udacity course, there was this community for Nigerians I was in, and I'm so grateful for that community, because I still talk to a good number of them till today. And I took that course in 2019. Um, so finding people within the community who are learning the same thing as you, and you all grow together, is one of the best things ever. So find a study buddy, find a community, or you can use a co-working app, or you can, I don't know, just find your people. See, we have another comment from Jennifer. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. So soft skills are important. I was an SAP program. I was in an SAP program in 2015. After certification, we went through soft skills training and design thinking. Yeah, design thinking is so cool. And before we were placed, and it was, and sorry, my brain is glitching. We were placed, and it helped quite a lot. Yeah, I agree. Soft skills are very important, and that's cool that you had the opportunity. Thank you for sharing. So just find, also I think another important thing to do is finding regular time for yourself, time that works for you to study. This is also something I'm struggling with. So finding the time that works for you, where it's convenient, sort of convenient, because it's never convenient to study, because studying is hard, kind of. So find a time that works for you and make it a routine, or how whichever way works for you. So finding a routine, I think, is cool. So do this for yourself, and I think doing things with other people is also better accountability. All right. So wrapping up, this is a cool quote I found by Robert Greene. The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. So I 100% agree. And I think it's important to find skills, I think there's this thing I saw called T-learning, where you like specialize in one thing, but you also like have basic knowledge in other things, because I think it's important to be able to bring things from different perspectives into what you're working on. Like how, as a data scientist, if you have some knowledge of front end your or UI UX design, I think it will show in the way your visualizations will come out, because you already have that design mindset, sort of. So even if you're transitioning from one field to another, you can always carry skills from one place, from one field, from one track into the other track, and then see how you can blend it together. So it's important to learn more skills, be ready to adapt, and if you can, combine them in ways that are creative. And PS, I love Robert Greene's books. I think I've read almost all of his books except two. So hopefully I finish them this year. Um, so wrapping up, are there any questions? What do you think of the Learn AI in 5 days campaign going around across industries? What I think about that? I think it depends on, I don't know if it's possible to learn AI in 5 days. I think you can learn how to use AI in 5 days, like best practices for using AI. But then saying that you're going to be an AI engineer in 5 days is crazy. So it depends on, it depends. But if it's like it depends. So I think it's, my answer is yes and no. So yes, if it's you're learning how to leverage AI in your industry, like how to use AI for marketing, how to use AI to debug code, how to use AI for agriculture, that kind of thing, yes, I think it's possible to learn AI in 5 days. But if you're actually like learning what AI is, right from coding to the mathematics behind it and everything else in between, 5 days is crazy. But yeah, it depends on how it's how what the content of the program is. So that's my response. Hopefully that made sense. Is there any other question or follow-up question? Going once, going twice, third time. Okay, okay. What do you think of the? Oh, sorry, I'm reading. I thought it came up again. All right, so thank you for being here, for listening to me talk about continuous learning and productivity hacks for the past 30 minutes. Thank you for giving me your attention. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on mostly LinkedIn. And I have this small web page that I'm calling the website that it's a work in progress. You can find me on Twitter and you can send me an email. So we have another question. How do you prioritize what to learn next given the vast amount of information available? So, how you prioritize what to learn next? That is a pretty good question. And it's also something I'm struggling with because there's so many things to learn. So I think how you can prioritize what to learn next would be, it depends on your experience level. So find what's relevant in your current industry and start with that, because you can know every single thing. So just know what's relevant to help you get by. And also, it's important to consult with people with more experience than you, because they can point you in the right direction. Like when I started out doing my work as full-time technical content marketer, I was so scared because I only knew like the nitty-gritty of SEO to get by. And then I was like, I need to become an SEO professional by all means. And then my mentor encouraged me like, yes, it's important to know what you're doing with SEO, but then there are people who are specialized in SEO and still have to constantly upskill. So learn what you can and then do the other stuff that I needed to do. So in a way, I would suggest, so the summary of what I'm saying is how you prioritize what's next. Look at what's relevant to your industry. You can, I think a form way of doing this is looking at job descriptions. Yes, it depends on context of use. look at job descriptions for roles that you want to apply for, and then see what these people are requiring of said job descriptions. Although some job descriptions can be misleading, but try to find know what's fluff and what not, and then that's where community and mentors are important, and then try to tailor your learning plan to what people are looking for generally in the industry. I hope that answers your question.
Um, yes, it does. Thank you very much for that. I do have one last. Um, so how to balance continuous learning with your daily your workplace?
Sorry.
How do you balance continuous learning with can you still hear me?
It gets frozen on my end. I don't know if it's me. But I
Yeah,
heard that how do I balance continuous learning with my day job, I think.
yes,
Okay.
responsibilities from you.
I agree. I agree. That's a very interesting question. Thank you for asking that. So how I balance it is I try to schedule 2 times per week to do a course on something that I feel is relevant to my job. So I consult with my mentor, consult with my manager on what I should be doing. And then I think something that's really cool is live courses. I recently did a live course on content marketing. And since the live course, I felt the obligation to show up because the course was paid for. So having that time scheduled and blocked in your calendar is very important, and then having people who hold you accountable to that particular time is also very helpful. So find a time that's within reason. It could be every day, it could be depending on where you are in your career, it could be every day, it could be 2 times in a week, it could be 1 hour every evening, depends. So find what works for you and you're able to stick to it. So that's what I would say. Hope that answers your question. So how I personally do it is I have 2 times a week to do it. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That answers my questions. And looks like we don't have any other questions from the chat box. So thank you very much for giving us this insightful session. Really sure not only myself have learned something, but also the viewers and also some people who are going to watch the recording later. And I would also like to thank everyone that joined. Um, Let me just share this comment with you. One from Jennifer. She
Okay.
says, thank you for the session. And what I learned is the only constant change. I am currently project manager on a project migrating from SAP to MS for data analytics and reporting. We literally upskilling. And
Mm,
yes, that is true. I would also give like a lot of examples, testimonials to this, like what I knew a year ago could I don't really use them or I have to add a lot of things. I have to learn a lot of things. Like every day I have to learn. So
yep.
thank you very much, insightful webinar. And I have just learned that I have to download Finch. Thanks thanks to you. And I think I'm going today. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be searching for all the applications that I can because that's something that I have been struggling with. Something
Yeah.
that is going to be a progress. And because I was just, let's be honest, I was just vibing, just doing, just
Yeah.
freestyling. If I feel like doing it today, oh well, I'm going to do that. But thank you very much once again, and to
Thank
all those that are going to watch later, it's also very wise or very good for you. Just sit down with yourselves, make a plan, and take it from there, one day at a time, and it's going to be okay.
One day at a time.
Uh, yeah. If do you have any other last words that you would like to say, or an advice to someone who is about to start their journey in learning in tech?
Okay. My advice to someone who is just starting to learn tech, I would say stay curious, experiment with things, especially when you're starting, because once you start trying to be a specialist, you have a little bit of limited time to like experiment compared to when you're new and you're just like trying everything out. So stay curious, experiment as much as you can, pick something that you feel is you want to focus on, because spread focus is something that's a challenge. Okay, this is supposed to be one word. Okay, stay curious. That's what I would say. That's a summary of it. Stay curious and don't worry about feeling overwhelmed. You'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you very much. And this Maxina, I hope to have you again with us here. On behalf of Women in Tech Malawi, Shikot Africa Development Chapter, we would like to extend our great gratitude to you. And yeah, for our viewers and anyone else, do not forget to like, subscribe for all the tech tips, and yeah, just basically some chats. And if you'd like to be featured here, or you'd like to also give the webinar, please do not hesitate to DM us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.